Howdy friends, just went for Instagram, there we go. Has anyone else's Instagram been absolutely haywire these last few days? Like, stuff isn't shown as stories, it's taken like hours. I had something that took an hour to share stories yesterday and then it failed. So I feel like Instagram is having an absolute wobbler at the minute. So I wonder if it's just me or if it's everyone else. Anyhow, I am here to talk to you tonight about the catch-22 of when you're in this position where you feel too busy to be able to spend time working like on the business. So we hear loads of people saying, work on the business, not in the business. That's weird. I think I said that wrong. And I want to talk about that. Yes, the blush beauty sin. Yes, what the actual heck? I'll not say, I guess it's kids. But yeah, Instagram has been an absolute pain in the bum recently. I did my live yesterday and then I obviously go and pin them to my feed and it was like, oh, it's failed. And I learned yesterday that you can retrieve a live, even if you didn't send it to the feed in your archive. Nana Maddi learned a little trick yesterday, so shout out to Chelsea for telling me that. So I was able to retrieve it, and last night is on the feed if you do want to catch up on there. Now, I am speaking to so many people in the DMs and in the comments who are in this position where it's this like quote unquote good problem to have, this like first world problems that you are like so beyond booked out. And I find it really interesting that if you look in the industry groups, it seems like everyone is absolutely dead. You know, everyone's asking each other who's quiet. Has anyone seen a dip? Like, you know, who's struggling to get clients? Yet my inbox, if you look at any of my posts where I've asked you to comment a particular word, if this is you, there are heaps and heaps of comments, which just goes to show you that this is not a isolated problem. It's just a secret problem that people feel like they can't talk about it publicly because they don't want to seem like an asshole when other people are struggling. But please know, there are so many of you. I have never ever had this many DMs. And if anyone's waiting back on me, please hang on. Trying to, you know, make sure we've spoke to all of you is there's loads, there's absolutely heaps of you, which just goes to show how big a problem this is across the industry. And it's not just hair, it's hair, beauty, nails, lashes, semi-permanent makeup, holistic stuff, like the whole kit and caboodle. And there's so many people in this position who are beyond booked out. One of the reasons that they're not doing anything about it, and how ironic is this, is I don't have any time. I don't have the time to do the things that I need to do to get quieter. Or maybe they're in a position where they're feeling like their money isn't, like their income isn't relative to the work that they're putting in. If I had a quid for every time I heard someone this week say, the work that I'm putting in does not add up to the money in my bank, I'd be doing this live from Bora Bora, put it that way. It is wild. I'd love to know if this resonates or if this is true for any of you. Like, what a catch-22. I'm so busy. I'm too busy to do the thing that'll help me to be less busy, right? And I also think that there's something in, if I am less busy, if I drop a day a week, because that's what I help people to do, drop a day a week behind the chair without losing profit. What if that looks outside like I've failed? What if that looks like I am quiet? You know, if I shut on a Wednesday, especially if you've got a physical salon, if I close on a Wednesday, does that mean people walking past are going to think, oh God, she must be dead? Because, you know, the doors are shut. A fear of looking lazy. I've worked with people where when they've dropped the day, even not necessarily from like other people, but they've had this feeling of like, I'm being lazy because I'm not doing anything on my day that I work so hard to get off. It's so interesting, the mindset of it. I think some people are actually a bit scared of the success. So of leveling up and actually building a business that is genuinely successful and works without them there all of the time. I think especially if you've not come from that, or you've had parents who've really struggled, or you're the first person in your family who's had a business or had a successful business, maybe you saw your parents' business struggle, that can actually feel really hard to do better than people or to be more successful. And sometimes we've got this association to, it has to be hard. I can't earn money unless it's hard for me to do that. It has to feel like a struggle. It has to feel like a hustle. And maybe there's a worry of investing in something or doing, you know, joining something that is a bigger program, you know, Breakthrough is a 6-month program, and worrying about what if, you know, it doesn't work for me? What if I look foolish? What if I waste my money and all that sort of jazz as well? And I totally get that, because there are some things around that aren't getting the results that people claim them to get. And also on the other side, sometimes we can enroll into things and then not kind of show up for them, put them on the back burner, try and hide from them a little bit. And then obviously it doesn't get done because you need to do the actual thing. Yeah. I'm glad that's resonating, Skin Envy. So I want to think, if you don't do this, right, if you are in this position where you're booked out and you don't change anything about the situation, what does that mean for you? First and foremost, there's this thing of you're not going to reach the potential. Like, you are not going to reach your potential. I don't think for a lot of you, your potential is what you are doing right now. I think you've worked incredibly hard to get where you are, but I think that what's actually available to you and what is, your kind of deeper potential is way beyond what you can ever imagine. And let me say this from experience, like, I thought at one point the most I'll ever do is be booked out, exactly the same as you, be booked out with clients doing extensions. And I don't do clients. Like, I haven't done extensions for 2 years, just over 2 years. How my life looks now versus how I thought when I thought I've hit the ceiling. This is as good as it's going to get, and I'm going to be absolutely chocker, back to back with extensions. I'll probably, drop down dead behind the chair with me weave, needle in hand. Hey, Rich. And my life is completely different from that. And I'm so glad that I had coaches and I had people who saw my potential and were able to help me kind of pave the way for that. Another thing is this idea of not experiencing everything that's out there. I am a person of experience. Like, I love to see what's out there in the world. I love to see who I can meet, what I can do. Like, the world is an incredibly big place, and if you're lucky enough to get out and kind of see a bit of it, I just want to see more of that. I want to do more of that. Like, I don't feel okay just having a life that exists in like a teeny tiny little box. If you do, that's absolutely fine. For me personally, I'm here to experience as much as I'm able to, in whatever time I'm lucky enough to actually have cutting about on this fine earth. Another thing people are talking about is not feeling the success that they've actually got. Like, they've worked so hard to get where they are now, being booked out with clients, and outwardly it looks very successful. People are like congratulating them. I wish I was in your position and, snap my hand off to have as many clients as you have. But when I say, do you feel successful? The answer is no. They feel anything but. They actually feel like they failed their business, because it doesn't align with what they thought they would feel like when I ticked XYZ kind of boxes. Not being able to look at other options as well. So again, kind of harking back to this potential, like, if there's something on your mind, like in terms of opportunities and goals, things like you're doing what I do, being an online coach, educator, having a membership, having paid courses, having passive income, doing in-person work, doing speaking gigs, whatever that is for you, launching a product brand, like, the world's your absolute oyster, trust me. Feeling like, what if I never get to do that? What if I never get to explore what was available to me? And maybe feeling like other people are doing that and they're getting ahead. It's getting too saturated. It's getting too competitive. Like, have I missed that time? Which, by the way, you haven't. There is still time. Feeling absolutely burnt out, absolutely knackered, and feeling resentful, feeling angry because from the outside it looks really successful, but behind closed doors it just doesn't feel that way. So I want to talk about a couple of people that I've had the pleasure of working with. This is not an exhaustive list because I'm incredibly lucky to have worked with some phenomenally brilliant bosses, the type of people that I work with inside of Breakthrough. So this is kind of like cliff notes off the top of my head version. There are more than this even. So I want to name drop a few of you. Josie launched hairdressing education for college leavers. She actually managed to complete her award in education training whilst actually inside of the program. And I'm so glad she did, because it would have actually expired by the time we got enough time to go and have a look. The clock was ticking, so she did that, and she's been able to launch and helping those gorgeous, new to the industry people get ready for the salon floor. It's like incredible work that Josie does. I've got two lovely Rachels. Rachel E launched her education, which helps nail techs navigate booking onto and dealing with photo shoots. Plus many other, incredible bits of work. Rachel's fabulous. Anna launched Vivid Education. Alice launched in-person stuff. She does healing work and she does cacao ceremonies. Rachel P is in the process of launching her education. Babs, who I worked with very recently, got her first paying student within about 5 or 6 weeks of working together inside of Breakthrough, and is now looking to scale that and move into digital online scalable education. My lovely Holly is mapping out her next steps into education. We've got people who are building their audience, who are making passive revenue, who are exploring next steps as it comes to things like investments, property. Insane, like incredible work that everyone's done. Holidays, I can't even tell you. I can't even keep up with how many holidays they've been on. And some of these are holidays that before working together, they would have said, this is a holiday of a lifetime, because neither I had the time to do it or the money to do it as well. And they're doing both. Some of them are jet set. Some of them take more holidays than me. If we're having a competition, I want to win this. One boss, with this, I absolutely love this, joined a private luxury health club like nearby, where she now spends her days doing fitness classes, eating brunch, and working on the business with one toe in the pool, which is my ideal way to do business, by the way. Like, if you're going to work on the business from anywhere, work on the business from a gorgeous health club and spa on your doorstep. Absolutely stunning. In terms of revenue increase, I have worked with bosses who have increased their revenue by 10,000, 20,000, even 30,000 within the year. We're talking like eye-popper numbers here. And it's not, and bear in mind, these people are working less. These people are working at least a day less than they were before per week, right? So imagine adding an additional £30,000 of revenue into your business whilst also working one day less a week. And all this to say that this is available to you. Okay, this works if you do the work. We've got one boss who's on her way to buying her first home. We've got another boss who actually bought her family home not long after leaving Breakthrough, who I had the pleasure of getting to meet in real life, which is so beautiful. And I'll hopefully get to see her again later this year when I'm in her city. My lovely Carrie and my lovely Andrea shifted into offering high ticket services. Chantel, who I absolutely adore and have all the time in the world for, said that she literally does not have imposter syndrome anymore. I was writing notes and I was like, wait a minute, like, press pause a second. You do not have imposter syndrome anymore. And the confidence I have seen in Chantel and actually in so many other bosses is like through the roof. I'm like jelly of that level of confidence. It's absolutely insane. My lovely Tori opened her own salon. Alex went from struggling to recruit to having more staff than she can shake a stick at. And actually, interestingly, it's not all about next steps as in opening salons. Sometimes what people actually realize whilst working together is that's not what they want. So I've also helped bosses to scale back, to actually exit their salons and to have a business, have success in whatever way they deem fit. And those people who've done that as well and who've stepped away from their salons have said that that was also the greatest thing that they've ever done. So I don't believe in a one size fits all. Yes, the program works regardless of what situation you're in. We have hair, we have nails, we have MUAs, skincare specialists, like you name it, I work with you. But also what I absolutely love is that you get to decide what that pathway of success, as in the outcome of success is. We just work together on the pathway to get you from A to B, which is something that I love about it, because it is absolutely not for me to dictate success to you and say this is exactly how you have to have it. It can be a big salon, it can be multiple salons, it can be the product lines, the brands, the photo shoots, or it can be scaling back and thinking, I just want to travel, I want to go in my camper van, over a long weekend, every single weekend. I want more time with my kids. And I just want to have more revenue to do that with while I'm also freeing time up. So we can do the big stuff. We can do the nice chill, take a step back kind of stuff. It all works in there. And with all of these kind of results, think of these people in this, of things that will save you time and the most money. They all require an upfront investment, right? There's a quote that I use all the time. I share it in my masterclasses, and it's by Abraham Lincoln. And it's along the lines of, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. Because what does everyone else do? What do my booked out and busy bosses do? They're cutting the tree, they're cutting the tree, they're cutting the tree. They are absolutely knackered. Their axe is like shot to bits. It's blunt. It's not really doing anything. And it's just repetitive and it's painful. And it's not really moving any further forward. My breakthrough bosses, we go, let's stand away from the tree for just a second. We'll take care of the tree when we need to take care of the tree, but let's sharpen our axe. Because we want to go absolutely ham for 2 hours and go sharp, 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 write it down and free up all of that space. Does that make sense? I love sharpening the axe. That's like my absolute jam. So things like getting a booking system or setting up your booking system or going back in and, tweaking your booking system and getting those additional features all set up. Your automations, doing your accounts, having tax strategy meetings, setting up with an accountant, setting up with bookkeeping, things like that. Other automations, chatbots, autoresponders, putting together your marketing strategy, creating content, scheduling posts, right? All of those things can help you in your current business to make and save huge amounts of time and money down the line. And they all require upfront investment, don't they? There is nothing now that brings me time or money that I didn't have to invest time or money in upfront to actually get those things back. Yeah. And if you have aspirations to really, really, really scale your income, you have to have that time. So my example personally is in the lockdown. Like, some of the best and most successful coaches and educators had our kind of boom period in the lockdown because we had more time than ever before to actually work on our things, right? To work on our side hustles. My side hustle, I am not shitting you when I say this, increased by 100 times. So my revenue from pre-lockdown to in the lockdown was 100 times for Bossy Salon, right? I'm not talking like a couple of times more, 2, 3, 4, 100x. It's insane because I was able to have that time to work on it. And every time up to then, because I was booked out with clients, I was like, oh, this is the most it's ever going to be, you know, a couple of quid here, a couple of quid there, the odd ebook, because I didn't have that time to map it all out. I didn't have time to scale my audience. I didn't have time to, you know, learn how to do webinars and get into the tech and run Facebook ads and, you know, all the other things that were required of me to scale my income, right? To the point that I actually didn't need to do hair anymore, or couldn't physically do hair anymore, as mine was the case. Money is almost infinite. Like, money is pretty much an infinite resource. Like, money can be made over and over in many different ways, in very, very leveraged ways. Yes, it can be made working one-on-one with clients, but you can also sell digital things that make unfathomable amounts of money over and over again without any requirement from you. Okay. Time is not. Time is a finite resource. Smart business owners invest their time now to leverage it to make more money continuously in the future. Smart business owners do not spend all of their time in the business, work with clients. Like, well, you can, but you're just going to be absolutely knackered and you're not going to feel like you're getting any further forward and hitting these goals, especially as it relates to breaking through the income ceiling and scaling your income kind of exponentially. And you might think, you know, a lot of you have used my pricing calculator, so you might think, absolutely champion, Maddi, I can do this myself. I'm just going to log into my pricing calculator. I'll put the same amount of income in and I'll just drop a day. Let me ask you this, why haven't you? Why have you not? If it was so straightforward, why haven't you? And why have, you know, the vast majority, if not, I think all of my breakthrough bosses have used my pricing calculator. Why would they still join Breakthrough if they were able to just do that with the calculator alone? Why have many of them now successfully launched education, coaching, working with brands? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. Let's say that again. Nothing changes if nothing changes. But it is one of the hardest things to do. Your brain is hardwired to keep you safe. The comfort zone, repetition, the exact same thing again and again. It is not wired to make you happy. A phrase I shared on the podcast, which I love, we prefer a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. So many of you are keeping yourself in this familiar hell of like burnout, work, clients, physical, you know, your body's given up and you're like, your back's knackered, your shoulders knackered, your neck's knackered, week to week to week to week. Like, nothing is changing because it's a familiar hell, because we are hardwired. Your brain, your nervous system is hardwired to prefer that, because weirdly that feels less frightening. It doesn't feel great, but that actually feels safer in a weird way than doing something different. It's why, with all the will in the world, we'd love to run a marathon. We'd love to get up and do 10K every day, but do we do it? Most of us, you know, do a Nelly, because it requires change. It requires us to rewire that part of our brain that goes, actually, I love a lie-in, or actually, you know, I don't want to go out today, it's cold, you know. This is why we stick to snuggly little comfort zones, and we find it really, really hard to generally build new habits. And this is why doing anything that requires not only a change to the strategy, but also a complete shift in your identity is so hard, if not impossible, on your own, especially if you're in the eye of the storm, like the center of the whirlwind. And I've used this analogy heaps of times before. I see so many similarities between business and fitness. I have tried DIYing my fitness, right? And I'm going to be very vulnerable and open about this. I trained my current trainer, Phil, who I absolutely adore. Big up Phil. I trained with Phil a few years ago. So it was like maybe 2018, 2019. And I trained with him for about 12 weeks. And I thought, right, I know what I'm doing. I know how to use all the machines. I know I've got 12 weeks of my program. I'll just follow the same program. I know how to use my Fitness Pal. I'll just follow like the calories and the macros and stuff like that. Like I know what I'm talking about. When I left him to go DIY, guess how long that lasted? A week. In the second week, I drove to the gym one day in my full gear, in my gym clothes. I got to the gym, parked my car, turned the ignition off, and then I turned my ignition on and I went home because I just couldn't do it. I just could not be bothered to do it. I had excuse after excuse. I can't be bothered. I'm tired. I've not slept very well. I've not eaten very well. I've got other stuff to do. There's some emails I need to get back to. And then it dropped off an absolute cliff. And then what happened? I undid all of the work that I did in 12 weeks. I'll tell you what, it's much faster to undo 12 weeks of fitness than it is to spend the 12 weeks actually doing it. And it took me, 5 years to go back to him. And now I've just had my 1 year anniversary with him, and I will never, ever, ever not have a personal trainer now. I will never, ever not have a coach now. Hi Anna, how are you, my love? I've been bigging you up if you missed it earlier. Just love talking about you. I would go back to my comfort zone, as we all do. I've slid into my old habits, and now that I'm back, now that I've been back with him for a year, it is so much more than a personal trainer. For me, it's accountability. That's absolutely huge. Knowing that I have paid a person who is waiting for me. Like Tabney's watch, like, you said you were going to be here. The accountability, I have to, I fill a form in every week. I do, I fill in with, of course, I've got a spreadsheet. It's us. I've got a spreadsheet. I track my steps. I track my macros. I send pictures, measurements, all that sort of jazz. That is massive accountability because I can't hide. Like I can't go anywhere. But it works. So I do the things required. I do the tasks. I train, as much as I say I'm going to train. I eat what I say I'm going to eat. I do the steps I say I'm going to do because of accountability. Because I've made this commitment to him, which really is a commitment to myself, right? But he is that kind of mirror, as is a coach. Okay. It's accountability. It's having that expert who knows me, who knows my circumstance, because I had back surgery, so we had to do a lot of work to prevent any kind of injury, who knows what I love to eat, who knows how to work that into my plan, who knows how to motivate me when I can't be asked, which is often. Today was one of those days, and he still motivated me, and who challenges me to show up and who holds me to a high standard than I even hold myself, right? That's what you get when you work with someone. I have had business coaches consistently since 2020, which, remember what happened in 2020? My income was 100 times higher than it was previously, right? That is not a coincidence. That is absolutely in alignment when I decided to go, I'm going to take this shit seriously. I'm going to take myself seriously, my business seriously, and I'm going to work with someone who can help me to do that and get to that next level as well. That's when it changed from side hustle to full-time gig. Within literally by August of the lockdown of that year. So bear in mind, we 100x income between February and June of 2020. By August, I'd retired Aidan and said, can you leave your corporate job, your nice, cushy, well-paying corporate job that you've been in for over a decade, because I need you to come and help me in this business, which he, thank God, did. And it ultimately became our full-time gig. And, you see us, we travel around, we work from all over the world. We get to travel and do this as kind of like a laptop business. I do not want to do this by myself. I know that I do better when I have structure, when I have frameworks, when I have heaps of accountability. And what I love and how I love to be coached is as part of a group, because I like to lean on other people. I get so much from witnessing other people be coached. So my preference, I have one-on-one coaches, but for me, I prefer group coaching because I love seeing other people's perspectives. I love working with people who are actually a few steps ahead of me, especially if they're on that same kind of trajectory that I want to be on. They widen your perspective. They make you see what's available to you and what's possible to you. There is a lady that I met in a coaching conference that was part of one of my programs that I was on, and that was the first time I actually went to LA. She's a multi-millionaire and the funniest, sweetest, warmest, kindest person I've ever met in my life. And just literally to be in her presence and be in the same program as her and see what a gorgeous human you can be and hold that level of wealth and that level of responsibility and leadership expanded my mind. Like, crazy, because if you don't do that, if you only look at what's available to you, or your friends and family who are like not even self-employed, that's going to limit you massively. So I think it's really important to put yourself in spaces that really expand you, and again, see your potential and hold you to this kind of different standard. I love being coached with people who are in different parts of the industry to me, because I think we can become a bit of an echo chamber, and we have kind of collective limiting beliefs where, like in our industry in particular, there's a cap on prices, right? And we see this even worse in the nail industry. You can't charge more than X for nails. I love to see what people in other industries are doing. They do business differently, and I think that can be really helpful too. And all of this is why I created Breakthrough, because I don't want to see this come back up for you 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line. And I don't want you to see the results from this cohort 4, and think, I wish I had joined, but I just didn't have the time. And believe me, there are people that I have spoken to, the same people, in enrollment for cohort 1, cohort 2, cohort 3, cohort 4. Do you think anything changed for them between the 4? And bear in mind, that's over a period of 2 years, because it's a 6-month program. No, it's the same conversation. It's the same conversation. I'd love to do it. I still don't have the time. So nothing's changed for them. And I would dread to think, or I'd love to know maybe, what would have been different if they'd have just joined in cohort 1. They'd have had like 18 months. Well, the 2 years, but 18 months from leaving the program. And I hate to see it, because I see so much potential in these people. They've created phenomenally successful and busy businesses that have become a prison for themselves. And then I see the people who I am working with, what they're going on to do, and I think, shit, I wish that person was able to do that. Like, I wish that person took a bet on themselves and put themselves in that position, because God knows what they'd have done in those last 18 months. I hate it. Like, I hate seeing people's potential not explored, because I'm just busy. I'll just wait. I'll be magically less busy in 6 months. How? Do you tell me how? What is the plan for getting less busy? Tell me what that is, and why you didn't do it 6 months, 12 months, 18 months previously. I'm doing it again, guys. I'm getting on my soapbox, as I do. I get really super passionate about this. And by the way, remember that Breakthrough is literally designed for people who are fully booked. No one has the time. Like, no one is coming into this thinking, oh, easy breezy, like I've got weeks and weeks to, look over this. By the very nature of what the program does, you wouldn't be enrolled into it. Like, you would not be a good candidate for it if you weren't incredibly busy. So trust me when I say I know how busy you are. It has been designed with that in mind. That's why every bit of curriculum is designed to start winning you time back ASAP. Literally in week 1, we start doing that. I could teach you heaps about all sorts of different things, right? But we don't want to do filler. We don't want to do fluff. We don't want to do padding. You show up, you do the work, you implement what I teach you, you drop a day without sacrificing profits. Simple as that. And if you don't, I will work with you personally for free until you do. That is right. I guarantee the outcome of Breakthrough, because I am so confident that it works. I've actually guaranteed it since day 1, but you better believe I guarantee it the 4th time round. Like, I have seen it is proven it works, okay? And that's why we've had Breakthrough bosses whose revenue has almost doubled without working any more hours, actually with working less hours. This is the kind of thing that I don't want you to miss, because you sat here thinking, I'm just going to keep pushing through. It'll just quieten down on its own. Maybe I'll just do another little price increase and I'll drop a few clients. Make good decisions, gang. So my PT always says to me, make good decisions, and it sticks in my head. It is time to sharpen your saw. If you would like to sharpen your saw, if you are booked out and you are sick to death and you want to start seeing what other options you've got, and you want to drop a day a week behind the chair of client work without sacrificing profits, so you can look at those next steps, DM or comment the word busy and I'll show you how. We have 7 spaces left. We officially close enrollment at the end of next week. I will be amazed if we still have any spaces by the end of next week. We have always filled up before the actual date. So if you are considering it, if you are like, oh, I'm busy, I'll just wait till I'm less busy, please don't. I have so many messages after I close for literally weeks. I've had people get back to me 3 months after. We're halfway through the cohort, and people have been like, I've just got around to messaging you, I've been really busy. Please, please, please make this a priority for yourself, because there is not a lot of time to get joined, okay? Thank you for your time, as always, especially those busy folks. It is very, very precious. All of your time is really precious. If you have any questions, just send me a DM, but pop a DM with the word busy and I'll send you the information and you can make a decision from then, pop an application through if you feel like it's a good fit. And I will catch up with you in the DM. So I'm going to have a breather. I'm going to catch up with maths. What a juicy episode, by the way. I'm midway through the retreat episode's all kicking off. So I'm going to go and watch that and have a little calm down. I'll get riled up. Who knows? Right, bosses, I will catch you in a bit. See you soon. Bye.